5 to 4.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
We need a fitting. We will not be planting tonight.
Okay.
Well, we tried. Day one went okay. Aside from the fact that we need this fitting in order to be able to continue. We did locate one, but it's 8 o'clock at night and we're not able to get it. So we're gonna have to wait until morning, get out and get going in the morning. There is a chance of rain tomorrow. There's actually a chance of snow 2 days from now. So we're gonna do whatever we can. We're gonna push as much as we can. We'll get that fitting in the morning and get going, I hope. It is now the next morning. We got our fitting put on. We've got snow to the east, the west, and the south of us, but not to the north, and the system is moving straight south. So I think we're gonna miss everything. It looks like we're in the clear up until tomorrow night now. So I'm gonna take this planter out. We're gonna try this again. We're planting corn, guys. It's the end of April, and this is by far our driest field. This field is kind of up on a hill. It's kind of a crown. It's pretty sandy compared to almost everything else we've got. So it usually dries out the quickest. A lot of times we don't till it in the fall because it dries out the quickest. We got everything up and going here. It's gonna be cold for the next week to 10 days, and I'm talking in the 30s at night and 50s during the day. So that's cold. We're not gonna have a warm ground temperature, but we've decided that the corn is just as well off or better off in the ground than it is in the bag in the shop at this point. The calendar says it's go time for us. If we lose a little bit of population because of the cold shock and the cold in the ground, because the first drink that seed takes in from the moisture in the soil, it doesn't like it to be cold. That's why we want warm ground temps when we plant. But the way the forecast looks, it looks like we got 10 days of cold and maybe a little bit of rain. It's not good for the seed that's in the ground, but if it's May 10th before we get back out here, that's every bit as big of a hit, probably a bigger hit to yield than having it in the ground too early. So at this point, whatever we can go on, we go. I've talked to 3 or 4 different agronomists that we work with, and they all basically said the same thing. In our geography where we're at, get it in the ground. It's just as well off in the ground as it is in the bag in the shop. Plus we're getting a jump start on everything. We're working out the bugs. We're getting things moving. That way when it is really, really go time, we can hit it. And not that it's not go time now, but we're still waiting for the weather really to clear up for us and be good. We've had nice weather for the last week, which is good. Things have dried a lot, but they're not perfect yet. Not everything is ready to go. I actually only know of one other guy that's planting corn right now. There's some wheat going in on irrigated ground, some sugar beets to the east of us where they do grow sugar beets. I don't think anything's going into the west on the heavy ground yet in the southern Red River Valley, but we're going. We're gonna see what we can get done here. I've only got 20 acres left in this field, so I don't know where I'm gonna go after this. We thought we had a plan, but Dad went and looked at that field, and it sounds like it's not as dry as what we were hoping, or as dry as what we thought. So we're holding off on our nitrogen for now. Called the co-op and said just hang tight. We don't have anything that we want to go on yet. Well, that does it for the first just about 50 acres. Now I'm gonna fold up, head home, go for a drive, and see if I can find anything that's dry enough to go. So just on the way home here, you look across these fields and they don't look bad. The problem is when you get to spots like this area down here in the low bottom, you can see on the other side here, it's really slimy in there yet. We got a dry hilltop over on this side. I know it's too wet over there. And we got a little bit of standing water over here, which isn't a big deal. We'll work around that. That spot doesn't really produce anyway. But I know going through back in here, a lot of this is too wet. This area is gonna be slimy. We won't get through that. The tough part is 80% of the field will go. The other 20% is too wet. You're gonna be mudding it up. That's bad for the soil, bad for yield. Just not good for anything. It's not fun to deal with. It's bad for the seed that's going into that cold, wet dirt. We're just trying to find the balance right now. So I'm gonna go for that drive, and see if I can find something that that will fit. This is a field that should be 90% ready to go. This is going to be our problem area down here. It's wetter than I want it to be, but everything is. Kip, Zach Johnson, how's it going? Say, you guys got floaters going today? Would you be able to put some urea down for us? We're down by Starbuck. We got about 70 acres that's gonna go there. I can draw a map on Google Earth and screenshot it and send it to you on where I want you to go. What's your timeline on that then? Perfect. All right, I will, I'll just draw it out on Google Earth, screenshot it, send it to you so we know exactly what the acreage is on that then. Perfect. Okay, thanks, Kip. Bye. Farming. Unfortunately, that piece that I just tilled is a little bit too wet. It's got some draws that are still kind of seeping down the side hills. It's just going to be too sticky to take a planter into tonight. On top of that, my niece has to go to prom tonight, and it has been highly encouraged that I attend the Grand March. So, because of those two things, I'll be going to Grand March at prom instead of planting corn tonight. And we don't have anything else ready to go, which means we're gonna have to try for it again in the morning. It looks like, luckily, the rain for tomorrow, any rain that's headed for us is gonna wait until evening. So we should have all day tomorrow to go. We're short on acres anyway. We're struggling to find stuff that's dry enough. That's just, that's our spring. It sounds like actually we're pretty lucky compared to a lot of people. So I know they're wetter south of us. They got snow east, west, and south of us this morning, and we had sunshine most of the day, so I'm feeling all right here. I'm excited to go to Grand March at prom, and we'll do it again tomorrow. I'm not that excited about prom. Well, here we are again. It's tomorrow once again. We got seed loaded in the planter. I'm gonna head down to the field that I worked yesterday. We're gonna throw that 70-75 acres in. That's going to be it for today, because the next couple fields we have that are going to be ready are just not quite ready enough. On top of that, there's only a couple of us going. There's only a couple of us planting corn. So the co-ops are now not out spreading nitrogen today. So it's going to be really difficult for us to get any nitrogen down. So therefore, this is going to be all that we do today. We'll get it done this morning and then, I don't know, mow lawn. So far, not bad, but I went through a spot that was kind of wet, not even too wet, and I'm getting this mud building up on the wheels right here. I've got the row cleaners up as high as I can get them, so they're pretty well out of the way. But once that mud starts to build up on those gauge wheels and those closing wheels, then we start to get into problems. I got a wet area coming through here. If I get through this, I'm not too worried about the rest of the field. I'm just gonna stay away from this to try to avoid it as much as possible, but we've got to get something planted down there. Then the rest of this field is mostly dry. Well, I made it through the initial worst stuff, and then I got to another spot here and ended up plugging a row a little bit. I think it's probably just the closing wheels. Oh yeah, you can see what kind of a mess we get into here. Then this doesn't spin, and instead of burying the seed correctly, it trenches like that. So at least it's not bad, it's just those closing wheels, but it's a pain in the neck. Planters and mud just do not mix well. Yeah, we could wait on this field. We could wait and try to let it dry more, but the bad part is they are saying 80% chance of rain tonight and a 40 to 60% chance almost every single day all week. So the little bit of yield loss that we might be down because we're gonna lose some stand from this stuff sitting in cold dirt, that little bit of yield loss that we're down, I think we're gonna more than double make up for by just having it in early. If we don't plant it now, the issue is 10 days from now when it dries out again after all the rain is through, this is still gonna be muddy, it's still gonna be difficult to plant, and then we're down on yield because of the late planting. So, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. Oh no. And 300 feet later, 2 more rows plugged up. We may be pushing it here. This may not be worth it. Oh, that is cold. Man. Obviously, we have sticky soils up here. This is some really wet stuff, but we have really, really high magnesium, high calcium soils. Very, very sticky stuff. That didn't get any better. You guys want to see a rare sight? It's a millennial with dirty hands. Well, Dad wanted to finish up the last 40 acres, so I'm gonna let him go. Man, do I love planting corn. Obviously, we're not in full force yet. We're gonna have to wait and see what the rain does tonight, what happens with the weather this whole week. Keep watching, guys. We're gonna hit it hard real soon. The weather's gonna turn nice. We're gonna have a lot more sunshine. I'm being optimistic here, but I sincerely hope and believe that that's what's gonna happen. And we're gonna get this corn crop in. And keep watching. All right, well, thanks. See ya, bye.